Hey, what's going on everyone? So today in this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm starting a new series, and it is called What SUP. Now, if y'all get the pun on words here, basically SUP standing for Supreme. And basically what I'm doing is, this is inspired by two people from what I know as of it now. It's inspired by Anthony Fantano and Richie Lee. You probably know them both. Shout out to them. I'm not going to link them down below, but you all probably know who they are, and they're the inspiration for this. And basically what I discuss is streetwear topics, sneaker topics, anything like that. And I go over maybe some hot topics or some, you know, controversial, unpopular opinions, and I discuss them in this video. And basically that's what I'm doing. And you all can easily be in this. All you gotta do is follow me on Instagram down below and DM me your unpopular opinion, and you can be in the next one. So I'm gonna be doing this sort of, you know, every once in a while when I need a video. This is a great idea, I think, and I'm really excited to be introducing this series. So I hope you all will enjoy it. Subscribe if you're new, drop a like, and let's get started. But the first hot topic, opinion, whatever you want to call it, opinions on Supreme dying. Now, that's a very big thing that people have been discussing. Is Supreme dying? And that's a huge question. I personally think that Supreme is dying in terms of being, like, you know, lesser known. I mean, it is super popular now and there's a bunch of people into it. And I think in terms of Supreme not being super mainstream, that is dying. Supreme is going mainstream. And we have to face the facts. The pieces are becoming less valuable, things about it. Just Supreme isn't the old Supreme anymore, and it's probably not going to return to that. There's too many people following it now. So in terms of Supreme's, you know, sort of skate thing, underground vibe that they used to have, that is dead. That is deceased by now. But, you know, in terms of going mainstream, they're very much alive. They're very not dead. But, you know, resale is going down. We've noticed that these last couple seasons, just that's very obvious, and more people are going to keep following it. So in terms of the underground vibe and skate vibe, that is low-key dying. And you know, they still do skate videos, so that maybe that doesn't show that it's dying completely, obviously, with like the Blessed video and things like that. But in terms of like really showing that, like on all their pieces, sort of dying. Kith is criminally underrated, and their EEA capsule was one of the greatest streetwear collabs in history. Now that is a huge statement. I do agree with the fact that Kith is underrated, and I actually have peeped the EEA capsule. There's a lot of really good pieces. I personally think this EEA capsule should have brought them to the level that they deserve to be at. So yes, Kith is criminally underrated, and maybe this is one of the best streetwear collaborations of 2018 easily. I say it's probably one of the better ones, no doubt. Maybe even towards the top, like top 3. I mean, that collection was insane. I think of just some of the pieces. Hopefully I've been flipping pictures of them. That collection is extremely nice, and I definitely think that collection should have boosted Kith a bit, but they are underrated, I would say, but pretty underrated. But in terms of being criminally underrated, I don't know about that. But you know, the EA capsule is criminally underrated, so maybe you call Kith that, but I don't know about Kith being criminally underrated. All right, they are underrated, but are they the most underrated brand? Actually, maybe. Yeezys suck because they're overrated and overproduced and ugly AF. Now, this just sounds like someone that dislikes Yeezys, I would say a lot, but I can agree with that some Yeezys are very ugly. That is a very obvious thing, and they are overproduced, and they are overrated. So in terms of this opinion, the guy's 100% right. He has nothing wrong on this. They are overproduced, and they are overrated. And some people can say they're ugly because, let's be real, some Yeezys do not look good, and that is a fact. So yes, Yeezys are a very overrated sneaker, and some people would also mention the fact that they're overpriced, but people know them for the price, so is that really something you can say? Who knows? But really, this guy's right, I would say, because they are produced, but that is what Kanye wants. Kanye does want more Yeezys to be produced. He wants everyone wearing Yeezys. I don't think he really cares about the resale, but he probably does care about the part, like the hype part, so he probably does care about it a bit. He probably knows what that is. But yeah, overproduced, overrated, 100%. Yes. Bape is utter trash. No style. Overpriced for the quality. At least with Supreme, it's somewhat affordable. Very hard to pull off without looking like you're in pajamas, and the shark line is awful. Now, here's some things I can't agree with. Overpriced. Supreme has overpriced items. And yes, Supreme, I guess, is easier to pull off in terms of not the Bape Shark collection. The Bape Shark collection, I personally think, is super ugly as well. But, you know, like the Bye Bathing Ape tees, and some of their tees are really nice. And honestly, some of their other jackets, I say, are pretty good. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those shark items either. I would say those are pretty expensive and overrated, and also trash. Or utter trash, as you put it. I could agree with that. Style on those also, too, is very hard. It's very hard to style a Bape Shark hoodie. It's just sort of looking ridiculous nowadays. I can't agree with that. So, you know, maybe this guy actually has somewhat of a point. But in terms of Bape being complete trash and no style, I would disagree, because when they had Nigo, they had style. They had fire. Ever since Nigo left Bape, they dipped bad. Next, unpopular opinion. Jordans are too hyped. If the ad campaign of the 90s failed, they would have been canceled a while ago or been at stores like Payless for $10. The quality is a variable too. They're ugly as and definitely not comfortable. Now, here's what I can say. Some Jordans are comfortable, and that is true. I actually have a pair of Jordan 1s that I wear, laser ones, and they're very comfortable. So maybe broken in Jordans are comfortable, that is true. But at first, yes, they are very uncomfortable. And I would agree that if they didn't have MJ backing this, I agree they probably would have failed. And you know, some people could say, oh, well, they're iconic model, and they did iconic things to the sneaker game, and that is true. They did bring in a lot of new factors. So maybe they wouldn't have been canceled. But I've had to say, if the ad campaign had failed when Jordan was at his peak, that would have been a very big hit, and they probably wouldn't be the biggest. Now, in terms of them being not there at all, I don't know about that, but you know, just saying, you know, they probably would not be as expensive. Just expecting the fact that the Jordans cost $14 to make and they retail $160. They would just probably be a bit cheaper made and probably a lot less expensive on retail. Let's be real there. But yeah, if the ad campaign had been canceled, that would have been a big hit, and a big hit in the game too. I wonder what sneakers would look like nowadays if Jordans weren't there too, because Jordan did have a big influence. That is true. Not maybe a gigantic, but I'd say pretty large influence on a lot of sneakers. So I wonder what it'd look like if Jordan just was canceled and wasn't there at all. Air Maxes have the best collaborations out of every shoe out there. Now this is another, I'd say, very unpopular opinion, because a lot of people would say no, that is the Jordan 1 or that's the 97s. You know, some people would say there's other sneaker models that are just better to collaborate with. But there was a lot of good Air Max 1 collaborations, that is true. I know the Off-White, I think they had one. No, they had the Air Max 90, different. I mean, the Air Max 1 is a very iconic Nike model too. I know that was one of their first models released in '87, I think is when the Air Max 1 was released. I'm not exactly too sure, but I just know that it's one of their older models. But I would say that it's not the best. I would say there's not a lot of really good, super hyped collaborations. If they came out with those, then maybe. But I'm saying other models just have a bit more of an advantage, such as the Air Max 97 is a bit better too, because they had the Sean Weatherspoons, and that's another iconic sneaker that dropped this year. So if they had something like that to boost the Air Max 1, I'm pretty sure there's probably a big collaboration out there just a bit aged that I'm not sure of. That y'all probably gonna harass me in the comments for, but yeah, you know, nothing, I just would say no, because that's what I know off the top of my head. From what I know Jordan 1s and I know Air Max 97s are pretty much at the top when it comes to Nike. I wouldn't say the 1's it, but if it is, then let me know some good Air Max 1 collaborations at the top. If you only wear Supreme and Vape, you aren't considered a Hypebeast. Now, obviously, this is true. They are Hypebeast brands, but just because you own an item from it does not make it hype. That item has to be hyped itself for you to be a Hypebeast, and maybe you don't necessarily need to like it either. Hypebeasts tend to not like what they wear, but there can be Hypebeasts that like what they wear and they're hyped items, but I'd say most Hypebeasts tend to not wear it for the style. They tend to just wear it for the item itself and what it represents. So if like a Hypebeast doesn't like a Supreme box logo, they're gonna wear that for the BOGO, and that's really the only reason they wear it, is for the hype and the clout they can get from it. But in terms of it, I would say if you only wear Supreme and Vape, you aren't a Hypebeast, and I agree with this. Honestly, I would say this isn't even too unpopular itself. I would say many people can agree with it, but it is a good opinion, an interesting one to say. So, you know, I agree with that. But yeah, if you only wear these brands and they're not hyped items, I guess you could say the same with me. Like, this isn't a hype Supreme tee, so I'm not a Hypebeast right now. But, you know, yeah, I agree with it. Unpopular opinion: the dad shoe style and men's shoulder bags are not a good style. I agree. I agree with that. Dad shoes are ugly. I do own a pair of like dad shoes. Like, I own some New Balances, and they aren't like amazing style. They aren't like the greatest shoe. But I would agree with that. You know, I actually own a shoulder bag too that I was planning on using, but I looked into it and I was like, I don't know if I'd really rock this. But you know, I feel like some people that can actually style it very nicely, and then it becomes acceptable. But someone like me, I don't know if you're gonna be catching me in those kinds of shoes. Maybe a Balenciaga in the future. You know, something like that, like Triple S. Maybe, because those were fire. But I do agree with this to some level. Certain people can style it really nicely and it looks like a great style, looks really good. But I mean, if you don't style it correctly, like I'm still working on my style and all that, then yeah, it's not a good style, especially shoulder bags. Like, since when have men worn shoulder bags? I mean, new to me, but I mean, I'm not gonna judge for it, because you may even catch me in one day, just not like a big one like the one I own. But yeah, that's it for what's up. I basically know a new series I'm starting. I'm super happy to introduce it, and hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you want to drop some unpopular opinions, all y'all gotta do is you can drop a comment down below saying your unpopular opinion. I'll screenshot it and maybe put it in my next video, or you can follow me on Instagram at Tristan.Wick, DM me down below, just click the link, DM, and send me your unpopular opinion. And it's really that simple and easy, and y'all can follow me there too. You can add me on Snapchat too down there also. And that's really it. I'm in a good mood. It's early in the morning, and yeah, new series, what's up? So thank y'all for watching. I appreciate the love and support. Like, subscribe, and peace out.
BG got that heat, boy. BG got that heat, boy.
Murder on the beat, so it's not nice.